This is the 3 a.m. DUI series. This is video 4, where we're talking about penalties and punishments for DUI in the state of Washington. My name is Andrew Wheeler. I've been a criminal defense attorney in Southwest Washington for the last 14 years, and for the last 12 years my practice is focused on representing folks charged with DUI and other forms of impaired driving. When asked why I started a series like this that addresses these types of issues, sometimes late at night, sometimes where maybe that an attorney's not available, to me it was really a pushback based on what I've seen and have read theoretically when it comes to how other attorneys are marketing DUI defense. There is a huge push towards scare tactics, Boogie Man Advertising. This is where the worst case scenario in every circumstance is placed towards the potential client. That there is the possibility of 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. That's true. We do have a ceiling or maximum in the state of Washington at that level. But do a majority of the cases end up with those types of punishments? Absolutely not. In the last 10 years I've done about 1,500 DUI cases, and I would say that 95% of my clients are folks that have no criminal history, and really to market or to scare folks or to push them in that direction based on those high numbers I think is disingenuous, and frankly I think it's wrong. As I stated, in the state of Washington a DUI is a gross misdemeanor. It has a ceiling or maximum at 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. It also has a floor or minimum, and that floor or minimum is going to raise up and down based on two factors. Number one, a determination of what is called a prior, and number two, the client's breath test level. So first off, what's a prior? A prior is going to stand on the incident evening, the night of your DUI, and it's going to look back 7 years, and it's going to say, can I see another DUI during this time frame? Or can I see a case that started as a DUI that was amended down? So the sense is if we can look back and the prosecutor can see that, the floor or minimum is going to raise up. And in the state of Washington, at a low breath test case, so between over a 0.08 and under a 0.149, that's going to push up the floor minimum to 30 days in jail and 60 days of electronic home monitoring. On a high breath test or refusal case, it's going to push the minimum, again the floor, to 45 days in jail and 90 days of electronic home monitoring. But again, most of my clients don't fall into that range necessarily. Most of my folks looking back are not going to see anything in the last 7 years. And so in their circumstance, they're looking at between 28 and 48 hours in jail, again depending on the high breath test to a low breath test case, and between a 90-day license suspension and a 1-year suspension. Now I'm throwing those jail timeframes out and license suspension timeframes out like it's no big deal. I understand there's a very real-world concern to even those very low numbers, and that's why folks come to us. The sense is that we can do a great deal on these first offense cases. Unlike the state of Oregon, where a prosecutor cannot negotiate a case, in the state of Washington we can negotiate to lower levels. So my understanding is we're going to try to work where there's no longer a floor or minimum. Again, when we go down to reckless driving or if we go to negligent driving, in either of those scenarios we're no longer going to have that floor or minimum we're working with. My hope is today, in watching this video, that you're going to get a very clear sense that anyone who is pushing or marketing towards these worst case scenarios is unfortunately taking a fear-based method. They're trying to do something to motivate you based on your worst fears. The intention of our video today is not to minimize the penalties of DUI, but it's certainly hopefully to establish a more realistic metric of what actually happens in these cases and the value that we can still bring even in a first offense or a low breath test case. So my hope is that you'll take this into account as you're researching this DUI situation, and certainly to give us a call if you have any further questions. Thank you.